All right, guys, welcome in, welcome back. I hope you guys have been well. It's been a while, not gonna lie, but we have something to talk about. Oh, that's the dog. We want to talk about the elephant in the ring? Okay. Hang on, let me get them something there. We won't have to hear him bark, but we'll have to hear him gnaw. Thank you. So, the elephant, right? Where in the world have I been? It's been probably a year since I've uploaded a video, maybe longer. Last year was probably the worst year I've ever been through. And I'll tell you why. I don't want to talk too much about it just because it's still hard. And I'm an emotional guy, so my dad had dementia. All right, Lewy body dementia. But if anybody knows anything about it, it progresses relatively quickly. I think I don't know, it doesn't seem that long. Then you start counting back, maybe it is long. I don't know, but they got to where he couldn't drive somewhere around in September of 19. So, which was a big change because mom's legally blind. She can't drive either. So it made things difficult, relying on me and my sister doing everything. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? It's then we have March of 2020. We had the pandemic happen. All right. Well, there's no place to go. So that some strange way to me feels like it helps. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just in my head. For the mom or other health problems, but they, they got along. They're not saying there weren't problems down the road, even before then when he could still drive. But maybe I'll tell one of those stories at some point. The start of last year, it started getting bad. But one evening, I don't remember if it was a weekend or a Friday, but it was late in April, maybe the 27th or something like that. I could go back and figure all this out, but these dates aren't necessarily critical, I don't think, in this story. Dad started having some abdominal pain, and, he can't really talk. So we ended up taking him over to the emergency room. I'm thinking, appendix. Man's never had a surgery, never been put under. And he was 77. So that's crazy. So anyway, it's not his appendix, it ends up being his gallbladder. So, okay, well, so we get him over there, finally get him into surgery. And surgeon comes out, says, "Oh, my Lord," brought pictures. It was gangrenous. God knows how long he'd actually been in pain, but couldn't talk about it or say anything. So I don't know. They say that you're with that disease, the further down the road you get, the higher tolerance. I guess it's a little less responding less to it, your brain. So all right. So that was a relief, right? But a couple of days went by and he never came out of anesthesia. So he never gained consciousness. Then they had to put a feeding tube in down his nose. We didn't have that too long because he aspirated. And at that point, that's, pneumonia. I did a lot of tests. They thought maybe he was still having a continuous seizure, and this was doing it. But nothing. So we went in the hospice. Because there's, at that point, You're never going to be where you were. It's not going to get any better. That's the route we went. We did get to a stage, a point in the dementia that where it was lost control of all bodily functions and things like that, not able to move. Now, sometimes he was strong as an ox. It's like dealing with a mule to move, but it wasn't anything like, wheelchair, and had to pick him up and do everything. So we went to hospice. The hospice house in my hometown, gorgeous facility. It's kind of grim when you think about it, but it's great for the family. The visitor hours around the clock, it didn't matter. You can have as many people as you want. Wasn't anything like the hospital. There was a patio and a lot more room in the room. Got to meet some of Dad's old classmates I didn't even know about, but they were a hoot, and some of the people we used to work with and people I grew up remember seeing that are left. And while we're in there, you guys know Marc in 4UFP. We did a lot. And probably my best friend. He ends up with a brain tumor, and they're giving him about a week to live. And he was down at MUSC in Charleston at the time. And I'm just, at that point, I didn't know how much more I could take. That's a lot for one person. My dad died on May the 7th in the morning. My mom was there with him. And then me and my sister got there shortly after. And that was their final moment together. And then we had a few days before everything else happened. So John, NJ4Z, he, a day or two later, took me down to Charleston so I could see Marc. He didn't want me going by myself, and I appreciate that. But so we both got to talk to Marc and, him laying there. And that's a whole other story. It's not my story to tell, so I'm not going to tell it, especially in the public situation here. But he was still doing complex math problems in his head. It was crazy. Yeah, he died a week later. He died on the 14th. So I lost my dad. What? And a best friend. A running buddy. A week apart. And after that, I have had zero motivation to do anything, especially this. And it's sad. Wow. So we're trying to get out of that. But and I think I'll save this for the next video. What we actually got coming up. I got some mail. We'll save that. That'll be the next video. I think we'll talk about. Yeah. So that's where I've been. I'm getting back. But I wanted to do this. Make sure I still could. And try, because we need to. We got to get back into it. Got to do it. I thought 2020 was a dumpster fire. 2023 was personally the hardest year I'd ever been through. So that's where the hell I've been. Where have you guys been? Send me some love. Say hey. I know I'm not the only one having problems, but and I appreciate all you guys. I really do. We did make it down to Orlando, and you probably saw some of the stuff from dinner. Had a good time down there. It's always a great show. The weather was great. Didn't rain one time we were down there. It's amazing. Got the NAB show coming up early in April. So hopefully I can get this up before then. But if you're out there in Vegas, come say, hey, see me on the floor. I'm on the board for the SBE, so I'll be around there doing that thing too. But I appreciate it, and thank you. I know it's been a while. It's just been hard. It's been hard. So, all right. See you guys next time.
We may stumble through, but all we have is precious time.